Stop hoping. Start demanding from life. Hope is a candle in a storm, flickering, fragile, beautiful, and utterly powerless against the roaring wind unless you cup your hands, shield the flame, and march into the tempest with your whole soul aflame. The world is awash with dreamers who stare at the candle and pray the gust will relent. But history bows to the few who rise, carve shields from conviction, and shove back the storm until dawn breaks on their own terms. In the hush before sunrise, when nightmares still stalk the edges of the mind, you must decide. Will you be the spectator of your own rescue or the architect of your own miracle? Every era has given us proof that the impossible bends for those who refuse to kneel. Carnegie in the steel mills, Lincoln in the crucible of civil war, Edison in the lab where darkness itself surrendered to incandescent vision. They did not petition fate with polite requests. They issued non-negotiable ultimatums, and the universe, hearing the ring of absolute certainty, complied. That same mastery is yours if you will dare to seize it, forge it, and command it. Because mindset is not a garden in which gentle thoughts grow by chance. It is a battlefield where beliefs clash, and only the strongest ideals survive the dawn. Your thoughts march in formation, the disciplined legions of focus, the rogue deserters of distraction, the mercenary doubts selling weakness for a cheap reward. Stand as their general, drill them, refuse to entertain one whisper of resignation. There is no neutral idea. Each concept either sharpens your sword or rusts the steel. Take inventory. Which voices do you feed? Which inner banners do you raise? Ancient strategists knew that victory is declared long before horses thunder across the plain. It is secured in the minds of warriors who have already tasted triumph in the chambers of their imagination. See, feel, taste the conquest of your endeavors till your pulse drums the rhythm of certainty and the earth itself begins to believe you.
Belief, then, is the alchemy that transforms invisible thoughts into tangible gold. It is the daring insistence that what you see inside will exist outside, no matter how high the walls of circumstance tower. Henry Ford stared at the skeletal outline of a horseless carriage when roads were still choked with wagons and skeptics. He did not negotiate with convention. He fired convention, hired innovation, and built an empire on four wheels. The secret? A clarity so crystal that doubt shattered on impact. So speak your intention without apology, as if the outcome has already signed its name in the logbook of reality. Vague goals invite vague results. Detail is power. Describe the life you demand with the same precision an architect uses to draft the blueprints of a skyscraper. Height, material, weight tolerance, even the reflection of sunset on the glass. Then frame it in the lumber of daily habits and pour the concrete of disciplined action. Vision is that blazing horizon pulling you forward when every logical analysis says turn back. Picture Walt Disney walking through swampland, seeing castles where others saw mosquitoes. He wasn't hallucinating, he was pre-living the inevitable. Vision isn't a watercolor wish, it's a line-etched engraving on your destiny, carved so deep that storms cannot erode it. Engage every sense, smell the sawdust of the set, hear the applause of an audience not yet assembled, feel the handshake after a deal that hasn't been offered. Then harvest that energy into the now. Purpose becomes a superconductor when electrified by sensory conviction. It magnifies courage, accelerates learning, and vaporizes hesitation. Discipline is the chisel that sculpts raw resolve into a masterpiece reality can't ignore. It is the lover of early mornings and the sworn enemy of excuses. When the alarm erupts and gravity pleads for your surrender to soft pillows, discipline whispers a singular question. Who are you becoming by staying comfortable? The giants of industry answered by rising. Andrew Carnegie inspected steelworks himself at dawn, even when his fortune was already minted, because excellence is a habit, not a paycheck. Your schedule is your manifesto written in hours. Trace your calendar and you will read the truth of your commitments. Cut away idle gossip like diseased branches, graft grafts of learning, plant seeds of action in every empty slot, then water them with relentless follow-through. Action is the bridge from theory to throne. No amount of meditation can replace a single step into the arena where ideas earn scars and become legends. Self-help shelves groan under the weight of unread promises. Fewer pages would sag if more readers rose, walked outside, and tested a paragraph on the street of commerce and consequence. Innovation is a contact sport. You will be tackled. Good. Every collision reveals weaknesses to armor and muscles to strengthen. Edison burned thousands of filaments until one adored electricity. Each failure was a scouting report leading him closer to victory. Stack your failures into a staircase. Gratitude, paradoxically, is the fuel for further conquest. It is not complacent acceptance. It is reverent acknowledgement of ground already gained, a deep breath of perspective that feeds endurance for steeper climbs. Lincoln, amid warfare's chaos, paused to praise soldiers by campfire light, not as ceremony, but as a tactical infusion of morale. When you thank life for trials, you convert them into teachers. When you thank allies, you multiply trust. When you thank your own relentless spirit, you sign a renewed contract with possibility. Gratitude is the lubricant that keeps ambition's gears from grinding under pressure. Adaptability is your compass when the map burns. The terrain will shift, economies crumble, technologies ambush markets, alliances pivot. Rigidity is a marble statue, impressive until the earthquake. The oak that survives hurricane winds is the one that bows, flexes, and springs upright stronger. Study the curves of history. Columbia Records survived the CD purge by streaming. Netflix escaped mailboxes to conquer bandwidth. Nations rebuild and artists reinvent. You are not a fossilized identity. You are the movable canvas of human potential. When circumstances crack, pour yourself into the gaps and harden into new forms. Resilience is the marrow in the bones of greatness. It is forged when defeat visits uninvited, sets your plans ablaze, and you rise from the ashes with eyes that glow titanium. The champion is not spared heartbreak. The champion marries heartbreak, wears the ring of hard lessons, and builds a dynasty on the vows, "I will not break." Recall how Abraham Lincoln lost elections, businesses, loved ones, yet each grief hammered a deeper cavity for compassion, strength, and resolve. Your scars are not disfigurements. They are medals minted in the furnace of lived experience, proof that pain could not evict your purpose. Learning is the eternal feast laid before you. Endless courses of insight from mentors alive and long departed. Carnegie devoured books on philosophy, sociology, and manufacturing with the same appetite. Disney studied engineering concepts for rides. Ford dissected machinery to refine design. Knowledge is not hoarded. It's weaponized, deployed, iterated. Approach every conversation as a student. Ask better questions. Then test answers in the laboratory of action. When wisdom meets execution, destiny signs the deed of ownership over your future. And so, the conclusion is not an ending, but a detonation, an eruption of realization that life does not budge for wishes. It storms forward for warriors who demand their share with the absolute authority of birthright. You were not placed here to beg crumbs from the banquet table of existence. You were sent to command the kitchen, season the feast with your gifts, and invite others to dine on the abundance you generate. Decide now, in this pulse of breath, that hoping is demoted and demanding, rooted in integrity, fueled by work, and crowned by relentless faith, takes the throne of your daily ritual. Thunder your intentions into the valley of tomorrow. Let mountains move to carve your path. Because when you stop hoping and start demanding from life, you do not merely change your story,
you rewrite the contours of reality itself, and history will be forced to carve a new chapter with your name etched in unbreakable ink.